All right, there we go. Now we should have, yeah, I've killed the sound on that window. That is good. And we are on our way. All right, as luck would have it, mere minutes ago, our dear friend Jeranism decided to reappear after the last encounter on Twitter where he insisted he doesn't run away while he was running away.
This man, this man is just he's so good, dude. Like he's oh man, it's great. I love it.
and yeah, we've already, let's see. He does come out aggressively. He starts out let's see, with the flying through space at 2 million miles an hour, and of course I mentioned, okay, argument for incredulity dismissed. And then what else? Oh, then he went right into the ad hominems, which it was a little early for that. Normally there'd be a little back and forth first, but he dove right into the ad hominems.
Oh yeah,
Apparently I'm
of course.
apparently I have no brain. That's, you can tell. All right, no brain there. Got a little ad hominem going on. And let's see, lost cause. If science said you were a dog, you'd be on your way to the store to get milk bones. Okay, good. We're pulling out all the flat Earth logic. Anyway,
This
let's
guy, I love it, dude. I love it.
let's not waste a batch of time on that. Anyway, um, I don't know if Chris is going to be joining us or not. Um, you saw the video that he pulled in there. I have not seen it. I don't know if anybody's previewed it, but this would be one indicating, of all things, we are living in the Matrix. So maybe we should just. Anybody got any interesting news? Anything interesting going on? Interesting battles? Flat Earthers sent packing? Anything like that?
I have a screenshot of a picture
Oh,
that was just, it's great.
not a
Hang on, let me see
problem.
here. Oh yeah. So I think this was a battle between someone else, but I came in and I was like reading the comments or so, and this one stuck out to me. It was like three posts total. The guy goes, "I'm a theist and I accept evolutionary theory." Comments back to somebody else in the thread, but
Hmm.
right after that, first guy tells someone else here evolution has not been proved. So within three posts over the span of 45 minutes, this guy does a 180.
Let's see.
And I was sitting there like, I don't think he thought that through at all. He's like, I gotta come across as reasonable to the atheists, but really, I hate that shit.
I see.
And like he can only fake it for so long before someone goes, I don't think before they call him on his crap, like I don't think he knows about evolution at all.
Mm.
I think you're making it up.
I've, yeah, and then once you get into the arguments against, then it's pretty much clarified that no, they know nothing about it. Isn't that the common saying? Either you agree with evolution as a fact and the theory of evolution, or you don't understand evolution as a fact and the theory of evolution.
Yeah, because I met a guy. He's like, I understand like micro revolution. I was like,
Oh,
let me just stop you right there. How much micro evolution would add up to, say, green eyes and blue eyes?
yeah. See,
Exactly my point. A
it's
lot of micro evolution kind of like builds upon itself, and
mm,
eventually you're gonna get some macro evolution, fella. And he goes, "No." I'm like, "Really? Then when's it stop? When? When?"
you know what they'll say to you? They'll say, well, within kinds, a kind can't become another kind. Now
Oh
and
yeah,
the funny thing, what they don't understand is that's exactly what the theory of evolution and the whole, the tree of life drawing, that's exactly what it says.
yeah.
And they're coming,
All
a
you gotta
dog will
say,
never give birth to a cat.
all you gotta say is, for one, retroviruses exist. Those are
Mm,
viruses that inserted themselves into our DNA because it's beneficial for their DNA to
mm,
therefore get passed on. It
yeah.
does nothing to the human condition at all besides exist in our DNA.
Mm. Yeah, if you can also, you can pull out the whole human chromosome number two thing, and they'll just deny that. And
Yep, of course.
best best the one I like the best is mitochondria. Little powerhouses in the cells. It would
Mm-hmm.
appear it would appear they don't belong there. It would appear that originally they were an independent bacteria that now cohabitates with humans. That's why
Yeah.
mitochondrial DNA is different. So anyway, uh, let's see. Nothing going on in the comment fields yet, and we're all right. Well,
Do I have
uh,
time to rinse my hand before we kick off?
oh sure, absolutely. We'll ramble on
Actually,
about something. Let us know when you're back.
I think it's so funny, dude. Like we sit there, and you bring up like facts of like like mitochondria exist outside of like the human condition, right? Like we've seen them, and they're just fine on their own. So why is this little guy mixed in there with our little guys, helping our little guys do stuff? Well, because you see, that's how they are made. No, no, no. Our cells can do the job of that mitochondria, albeit it'll take a little bit longer till you make
We're a little slow,
ATP, but they can
and
do
they,
it.
and they don't get quite as warm. All right,
Yeah.
let's see if this. Let's zip back over here to Twitter for a second.
Oh, geez.
Uh, oh, this is responding. What the hell's your response? What did I say? Wrong. Always can. Oh, I see what he's responding to. Um, you can't. I, you know what? Maybe nah. No need to throw this up on the screen. We'll wait till there's a bunch more of them, then we'll throw it up on the screen. Just for these two, it was he put up a meme. The usual stuff,
Oh, I
and
mean, I,
and
I
that's
stacked it up.
and then I caught sight of it. It wasn't directed to me. It was just to the general populace, I guess. And it was one of those, if you believe you're going at this speed through space, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I did my usual flag on the play, argument from incredulity. And the response was, it just seems like we're not even trying anymore. So let's see. Must be nice to believe bullshit because questioning it is an argument from incredulity. How about you try and show proof? I just, what exactly was I supposed to be proving in the previous statement? The meme is stupid. I don't need to prove that. It's right there on the screen.
Yeah,
And
me
that's so,
damn dumb. Next.
so, so I just responded, I love when you get all stirred up. You start to get careless. and the answer, believe it or not, is wrong. Always careless. You're free to believe and make believe all you want. Oh, okay, good. All right, there.
I think what's funny, right? There actually is nothing wrong with questioning established science. Go to any university and just ask like a physics professor, hey, how come planets are always round? And they will happily break down the math. They'll break out the whiteboard for you. But
Mhm.
after they show you, and then you refuse to accept it, what do you want them to do?
Yeah.
What do you want them to do after that? Like they've shown you the math at that point.
Well, and that's if they're correct. The, college professors, scientists in general, they're no different from any of us. Well, us. I would say rational
stuff that we
people.
already
Is
know,
that
like why planets are always round. Well, because of gravity, blah 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 blah. Here's, and then X, Y, Z. There's your equation. You plug in your numbers. Stuff that we
Exactly, but
know, like basic astrophysics.
oh, let's see. Let's see. Chris is in the chat over there. Let's see. Okay, Chris, we don't really use cameras too much. Leave everybody in there. That way somebody spills a drink, nobody notices. Anyway, but yeah, what I was going to say is that the professors and scientists and basically folks with any intelligence and I would say intellectual honesty, we like being wrong because when we're wrong and somebody shows us how we're wrong, we learn something. Scientists are no different. It's not a religion. If you can demonstrate how they're wrong, they're all ears. There's no conspiracy.
A quote from Hawking, or no, Richard Dawkins in one of his documentaries. One of his colleagues had long held this idea that he was right about something, and he had his math to back it up, had his evidence, and then someone from Australia, some biologist came through one year and just outlined how he's just completely and utterly wrong. And rather than getting mad, the dude said, "Thank you. I've been wrong for 15 years. Thank you." And then boom, one and done. Next topic. He's now wrong. He knows how he's done, like how to get right now, and everyone's happy.
As it should be. As it should be. There's nothing wrong with being wrong, and that's the whole purpose of both the scientific method and peer review is that it's supposed to be a process of continuous improvement. That yes, some or many of the things that we hold dear and true now may not be, but with the information we have now, that's what we know.
Like, dude, even the model of the atom has changed already since its inception back in the 1800s. I mean, we are just starting to get, all the pieces here. So yeah, expect to be wrong. And don't get mad when you're wrong. Just accept being wrong. It's so easy. It's so easy.
And every time it is demonstrated that someone is wrong, that is continuous improvement. The theories are either updated or discarded, and that's how it works.
Pretty much.
Alrighty. All right. Chris is getting his stuff going, so he should be on shortly. And, look who we got.
Hello.
Chris, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Hello there. Well, welcome to movie night.
Thank you.
Hey, look, it's Chris, guys. Hi, Chris.
And Chris, I don't know if you've met Slender Skeptic over there, and I don't think he's back yet.
I was back a few minutes ago.
Oh, welcome. Yeah, I must have been running my mouth, and that just covered you entirely. My apologies. Say hi to Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Slender helped us out.
Since I posted the video.
Yeah, this one's going to be. Honestly, I did not get a chance to blow through it yet, but I believe that there should be enough stupid to keep us entertained.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing either. It was hard to stay in there because of all the stupid. His main argument is because entropy exists, life can't exist because everything gets more disorganized as time goes on. Therefore, it's impossible for things to organize into life. Yet he completely seems to not comprehend that we take disorganized material and shape it into an iPhone.
Indeed, that's the. I have heard the whole laws of thermodynamics things just misused painfully.
You know what bugs me the most about that? Like, they don't know that it applies to a lab set up closed experiment. a closed system in which you're trying to measure a specific outcome.
Hmm.
And then you'll always get the, well, the whole universe is a closed system. No.
And
no.
Even so, there's nothing against there's nothing. We're repeating what thousands of other people have already said, but
it's got to be said. Man.
Overall entropy does not preclude localized reduction in entropy. Anyway, okay. Mason said he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's not
Mason.
possible.
It does seem odd. He's been on everyone since, but I seem to remember him mentioning something about that. Well, if he jumps in, he jumps in. Alrighty. Shall we do? Let's get started. I guess. Let us see how we are, in fact, in the Matrix.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. Let's see. That's over on screen 1. I'll just do that whole screen. Oh, Chris, by the way, are you familiar with the how things operate on movie night?
Not particularly.
Okay, here's the general. It's very simple. We'll play a movie, and whenever something that requires a response, either because it's just frighteningly stupid, inaccurate, whatever, any party at any time can yell "drink," and we stop the video and take their comment after everyone has had their beverage of choice, of course.
Okay.
So that's it. We play the thing, and we just continue until somebody else drink, and then poof, we stop. Look at it. Tau Ceti Alpha is yelling drink already. So that means what I'm saying is stupid. Everybody have a drink, and you may debunk me now. All right. That's okay. I'll get that started. Tell me when you all can see the screen. Yeah, you should be able to see it now. And sound I've got the mixer. All right, should be doing the levels automatically. That's good. All right, let's see why we're in the Matrix. And we won't play the intro this time.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Stranger Than Fiction News. Now, I came here to kick some ass, not to waste your time, so let's get started.
I know of no one who has ever made this claim before, but I rather suspect that my experience is not unique. What perhaps is unique is the fact that I am willing to talk about it. We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed.
Since the 1970s, scientists have been asking themselves, do we live in a simulation? Are we living in a computer program? And the reason that they're asking themselves these questions is because the more we know about our universe, about life, the less random it appears to be.
So I'm left with the puzzle of trying to figure out whether I live in the Matrix or not.
Wait, you're blowing my mind at this moment. So are you saying your attempt to understand the fundamental operations of nature leads you to a set of equations that are indistinguishable from the equations that drive search engines and browsers on our computers?
That is correct. So
wait, I have to just be silent for a minute here.
When we ask the question, do we live in a matrix, what we're really asking here is, do we live in a random reality, in a reality that is the product of a random sequence of events, or do we live in a reality that has been constructed? Now, when we ask ourselves these types of questions, most of us settle on the explanation that we're given in school, that first there was a big bang, and then there was evolution, and after millions of years, well, here we are, everything being totally random. We accept that without questioning any of the basic parts of that premise, such as, where did the matter come from that supposedly big banged? Where did the energy come from to make things big bang? And perhaps what's even more perplexing here is, how did life evolve out of non-living components, given that nobody's ever seen that happen before? In part one of our series, we looked at a law in science called the law of biogenesis, and how it's the most basic and fundamental law in biology, and how it says that it takes life to get life. That you can absolutely not get life from something that is not already alive. We've never seen it happen. We cannot do it in a lab. It cannot be done. Now, they don't call
Can you
this
pause it,
theory
please,
of
sir?
biogenesis.
Oh yeah, I heard law of biogenesis too, but okay, carry on.
He says you absolutely cannot get life from non-life. So he's just going to ignore all the non-living cell parts that are just moving based on the laws that be.
Yeah, I believe that's what he's doing. And this law of biogenesis, I've heard that used before. I know of no such law today.
At the start, he said that we only know we're in a simulation when one of the variables changes, but didn't give any variable that has changed.
Indeed.
I noticed that too. I figured maybe he brought it up later in the video, but my stupid meter went up too high and I had to stop.
Yeah, man, I'm right with you.
Also, the Tyson quote, it shouldn't be any surprise that our simulations of things follow the rules that reality does its things with. So why shouldn't a computer follow the rules of the universe that the universe is in?
Yeah, it's kind of like the emulation is moved in one direction, and we're going to ignore that and say it's actually the other way. All right. Shall we continue?
Genesis, they call it the law of biogenesis. And even though there's a law of biogenesis out there, they still teach people that the theory of evolution somehow explains the origins of life. Not only
inaccurate. Drink. Theory of evolution has nothing to do with abiogenesis. Two completely separate. Well, they both deal with life, but wrong. Drink.
only is that idea unfounded and scientifically impossible, it flies in the face of everything else we know about our physical world. Take the laws of entropy, for example. These laws say that things in our universe go from order to disorder. It's why things go from beginning to end. It's why they break down over time. It's
this
why
is the basis of this whole argument here.
Up after ourselves. Things are constantly going from order to disorder unless there's a type of intelligent intervention. Take a city, for example. If it weren't for human intervention, they would be overtaken by nature in just a matter of years. In the natural world, in a totally random world, things go from order to disorder, not disorder to order.
Amazing how evaporation orders itself into streams and rivers.
Indeed. I would call drink on that. But I mean, is it too early to mention that a universal increase in entropy does not preclude a localized reduction in entropy?
Oh yeah, it does, because entropy. Shut up.
Maybe you could borrow from the creationists, and we'll just say because magic.
Oh, I love it. Yes, let's do that.
All right, carrying on.
Evolving out of a random mechanism, absolutely impossible. If matter is becoming more disordered with time, how could it possibly become ordered enough to become alive? Coupling that idea with the fact that we live on a Goldilocks planet where everything is just right leads us to the inevitable conclusion that we do in fact live in a constructed reality.
Drink.
Probability.
Drink, we're done. Nope.
All right, so he's saying that we live on a planet that's tuned just right for life. I don't think he's comprehended the idea that life adjusted to the conditions on this planet. There's a wide array of variables where life can exist.
There's also the fact that the Goldilocks thing only applies to the fact we're in a liquid water zone in the solar system. That's all it means.
Yeah, I've never been very fond of the whole fine-tuning argument. One, because it's wrong. Most of the universe is deadly. Secondly, I mean, everyone's heard the analogy of the lake arguing that the lake bed was created just for it because it's exactly the same shape as the bottom of the lake. I mean,
Well, I mean,
that's pretty much what.
Dude, how else do you get sand? Sand, one of the most malleable materials to perfectly fit the water. It's custom made, dude. Come on.
You know what? You've convinced me.
No magic required, dude. Come on, man. Use your head.
That's absolutely. The lake bed was divinely created just for the ass end of the lake. All right. Carry it on.
Guarantees that. Imagine a world with a 48-hour day. Imagine how hot it would be or how cold it would be at night. We're not just the right distance away from the sun. Every possible variable is absolutely perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, what we see around us isn't about chance, it's about design. Therefore, everything around us is the way it is for a reason. Everything that happens for a reason. It's all part of a program governed by rules. That's the reason. The real question here is, where did these rules come from? The inescapable truth here, my friends, is that there is a matrix. There is a dream world, and the people who believe evolution is the explanation for the origins of life are the ones living in that dream world. They are living in a virtual reality, in a matrix within the matrix.
Oh, did I hear a comment?
Yes.
Yeah. Abiogenesis is not evolution. I think that's something we all know, but these guys just keep saying it over and over and over. That they don't understand that evolution is what happens after life begins. It's not what creates life.
If
Yeah.
this is a matrix, then how did we become the beings that built a matrix to climb into?
Because you have to accept like space lizards or some crap, all right? Like, come on, dude.
So where did the space lizards come from?
Because the bigger space lizards made them.
Where did the bigger space lizards come from?
Even bigger.
In a bigger matrix.
We know where this has to end. All of it's going to be called creation, and because we call it creation, it requires a creator. So
there you go.
I
think we're done now. I'm out of here.
Sure. That's the begging the question fallacy, which is all right. So
it's imaginable. They did it.
There, it's established. A creator, the uncaused cause. He made the lizards, who made the computers, who made the program, and that's us. Okay.
That's ironic, isn't it? And there's a reason for that. And this brings us back to the common theme you've heard of over and over again. In every movie and every TV show, it's all about good versus evil. And that is why you need to question absolutely everything. Never assume anything you've been told is accurate. You couldn't possibly appreciate why people are telling you the things that they're telling you. Whether it's in school or on TV, the majority of the information that is being passed on to you is biased and compromised. In part 2 of this series, we talked a little about the dark side of the Matrix. And it is this dark side of the Matrix that is controlling the majority of the information that you're getting these days. It's not just the news that's inaccurate. It's
I want to know, where the hell is he getting this information about the dark side and the light side and all these? Apparently he knows somebody that's working it, because he's telling us stuff that we don't know how to test.
He seems pretty sure of it, though.
Yeah.
Maybe
he's running. He must be running the Matrix on his VMware on his desktop. That's how he knows all these answers.
So he may have a little keyboard right at his house then. All right.
I mean, of course he's pretty sure of it, man. Like, they're his ideas. Come on.
That's right. Hey, maybe he we shamed Jeranism out of using his "open your mind, there's truth inside." Maybe he took it.
Oh my God!
Maybe listening to the voices in the head and saying their truth.
Actually, you might be onto something there.
It's not. We gotta be careful. Apparently, it is not a very long drop to self-delusion. There's an awful lot of these folks that seem very convinced.
Let's see if he tells us where he gets this information.
I would love to hear that. All right, moving on.
Textbooks as well. Evil has one goal in mind: to sell you the illusion of truth. It says what is good is evil and what is evil is good. The further you are from understanding what is really going on in this world, the better it is for evil. And so evil will stop at nothing from corrupting your perception of reality. They're not just lying to you about 9/11.
Sometimes
and Iraq
evil
and
makes
GMO.
YouTube videos.
Wait a minute. So what is? Are we going to hear? So evil, some undefined evil, wants to keep us from the truth, and somehow that benefits this. Forget it. Drink. This is just words. This is turning into word salad.
We have to drink twice for extreme stupid.
I think that might result in alcohol poisoning, and I over the months I've grown rather fond of you folks, so I think we ought to take them in clumps. Like if there's a clump of stupid,
We only drink for in bulk.
yeah. We'll call that one. Oh, let's see. Soundly here in the comments mentions, in fairness, evolution depends on abiogenesis. Absolutely, but they're two separate processes. And claiming evolution includes abiogenesis is wrong.
Yeah.
And now, not that I would say this is the fact, but evolution is we're not 100% sure it depends on abiogenesis. We're pretty sure.
Leading theories suggest a type of like RNA-based strand of whatever started it off. And then it just kind of happened to take the best parts of the last RNA protein, and then the last one, and then skip ahead a few million years, and then you have your DNA strand and an RNA strand that kind of like coexist together. And then life is suspected to have built off of that. But once you have life, evolution all the way.
Indeed, but then that would be that would be basically the first abiogenesis, what you described, and then evolution after something is considered animate matter, life. But we don't know absolutely 100% for sure that is the case. Evolution could have proceeded exactly as the theory says, had there been an invisible man in the sky who said, "Poof, first cell." Evolution can exist independently of abiogenesis. Now, I don't think so. I believe abiogenesis occurred. There seems to be evidence pointing in that direction pretty conclusively. But evolution could still have occurred if an invisible man in the sky had said, "Poof, cell." So, all right.
Yes.
Back to the Matrix. Let's see how evil the dark side. Let's see how Darth Vader is trying to confuse us.
And the safety of frack water, they're lying to you about just about everything. To evil, a lie is a truth, and a truth is a lie. That is why I say to you, if you want to understand the Matrix, if you want to understand our constructed reality, then you need to start looking in places that talk about this reality as a constructed reality. That means creation, folks. Genesis 1, chapter 1.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Chris, did you get to this point, or did you throw the computer and have to go buy a new one before it got to this point?
This was the point where I turned it off.
Okay, you could have warned me there was some creationism coming.
Hey, there's some creationism coming.
Okay, thanks. I feel better now.
I already know when it was
exactly where you're going with this. Listen, friends, I'm being scientific about this. I'm not asking you to go out there and be a Catholic or a Protestant or a Methodist or a Baptist. I mean, it'd be nice if you were, but that's not what I'm saying here. I'm telling you to be methodical, be scientific, question everything. Every physicist, every mathematician is telling you the exact same thing here. The universe looks created. It looks like a program governed by equations. And it's not just physicists, it's chemists, it's geneticists, and you want to know why they're saying that? It's because what they're seeing in the DNA and the physics equations and the chemical reactions, it's about a reality governed by rules and equations. And it wouldn't make sense unless our reality was created. Why? Because somebody had to put these rules into place. Somebody had to program the very first DNA so that it would work and replicate. Without DNA, there couldn't possibly be evolution. From this point, there is just so much that we could talk about and expand upon, and we could just spend hours, if not days and years, contemplating exactly what all of this means. And I suppose I should begin by reiterating an important theme of the Bible here. Our world was custom made, and it's all we know for sure. We don't have a clue about what's really going on beyond our planet. We have no idea how long we've been on this planet for sure, or how many.
All right. Now, I'm starting to think, I guess we'll see how it plays out. It's not a long video, but is it starting to seem like this whole living in the Matrix thing is sort of a cover? And that really, he's not saying we're living in the Matrix. He's saying we're living in a created reality created by a creator. And then the short jump to, let's break out Genesis.
Exactly like the flat Earth videos and all these other crank videos. They all start off with their crazy theory, and they all come back to this same point every single time.
I honestly, it caught me off guard, but
they want to hook you in with like 3/4 of a scientific idea, and then they want to kind of fudge that last fourth. You know, that last bit that would really make it a fact with like magic. And every time I'm like, dude, you almost had me, man. I was right with you until you said, boom, Genesis 1:1. And I was like, nope, talking snakes don't exist anywhere.
All we
you
have
almost had
is
me.
reality. All we know is reality. But he's arguing that reality isn't real.
yeah, that's, and I have heard that before. But we'll see in the next. Oh, this is really not. He doesn't have many minutes left in his video, but we'll see if all of that matrixy talk is going to devolve into just
Creationism.
Just blah 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 blah. Therefore, God. But we'll see.
Hey,
That's
man,
pretty spiffy.
Okay, these are his beliefs.
All righty. Here we go again. Hopefully that break was enough. Everyone's recovered. Moving on.
Quote unquote Earths are actually out there. All we know is that we're here now and we've been given a handbook on how to conduct ourselves. That's the best way to look at it. Again, we could spend hours on the implications, like who else might be out here with us, or say how many times this reality has been reset. We say it's the year 2015, but who really knows? Who really knows how many times we've wiped ourselves off this very planet? In any case, with what remains of our time here today, I want to focus on what I think matters most. Our world is much more mysterious and complicated than we give it credit for. If you look at the moon, for example, that may be one of the most mysterious phenomenons that you can freely observe. You may have noticed that it fits perfectly between us.
Like, the moon is not.
Dude, the freaking moon just bewilders this guy. Really. The thing we can mathematically explain why it's there and how it got there, this guy is just like, look, man, I don't even know. I'm drawing blanks, dude.
How many times have we destroyed this Earth? Well, none. We're still here.
Yeah, where did that even come from? That was just an out of the blue weird thing to say. It's not linked to anything in his discussion, just random point. Hey, we've probably destroyed the world several times. Okay, moving on.
That's to tie it into the whole simulation thing, that it could have been reset and
could have been rebooted multiple times.
What was that other? Was it a thought experiment, or was it an actual? Was it called Last Thursdayism?
Last Wednesdayism.
Last Wednesdayism. Yeah. How would you know? How would you know if if everything was just created last Wednesday with all your memories intact? Well, we wouldn't, but we have to proceed as if reality is real. So, okay, the moon, right? Anybody else have any comments on his moon statement?
I mean, unless he can prove, there's another reality out there, man, that I'm just unaware of. I have to just ignore that part, like all that.
Probably
all I got is what I'm doing right now.
Statement, because he said we have a handbook, but the book doesn't tell us anything about how to live. It just has a list of stuff. It doesn't tell me how to wash a car. It doesn't tell me how to build a car.
And some of the things it does get into specifics about. What's the cure with the bird and the bird's blood and all that?
Or just
Yeah.
downright dangerous.
Oh.
Okay, it's a little shy on stuff we need, and the stuff it does have is not accurate. But off to the Soundlink says, Moon, watch my video. Why don't we make it easier for everybody to watch your video? Paste the link right in there. Family, if you got the link to your video, by all means, love to see it right there. Snide comment lawyer wishes to make an important announcement. By all means, announce. And since he's the lawyer, everybody get your wallets out. I'll let you know when he makes the statement. Okay.
Let's do it.
Moving on.
And the sun. This fact alone tells you the moon didn't just end up that way by chance. The fact that it fits right in between us and the sun perfectly is just another statistical impossibility. So that means the moon didn't just get there, it was put there, just like.
Okay. All right. I'm calling bullshit. It was put there. Well, how come it didn't stay where it was put? How come it didn't say where it was put? Where it was put was a hell of a lot closer than where it is now. And where it is now is farther away than where it was a year ago. So if it was
about the supreme lizard men, Jeff? Come on, dude.
What? So they put stuff in a place and say, you stay here, and it doesn't stay there? That doesn't sound very supreme to me. But
hey, they're not gods. They're just the biggest possible lizard men.
Oh,
okay.
all right.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, as long as we're staying credible, I'm with you. Okay. Oh, my. I see what. Snide comment lawyer. I have, that's actually one of the things on the list up next. Saw that. My comment lawyer was notifying us of Jeranism's latest video, which is an open letter to President-elect Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
It's upcoming.
Can this guy just take a minute from the stupid for just 2 days, please?
This person is an idiot. The moon does not fit perfectly between us and the sun. Agreed. No, you and that.
The size and still fit perfectly, or it could be a pebble and still fit perfectly because you put it there in orbit, it's going to stay in orbit regardless of the size. Perfectly.
Indeed. And in not too many years, our moon is going to have a moon. I'm sure you've all heard about right now we're going out to take a sample off an asteroid. In a few years, we're going to go snatch one and bring it back and park it in lunar orbit. So it'd be interesting to see what these folks have to say then.
It's going to mess up the dolphins.
Oh, dude, I can already hear him. You see, it takes an intelligence to put a moon in the perfect orbit and blah, 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 and hee-haw, hee-haw. I can already hear him, dude.
Great, you just made it easy for them. Just one of them happens to catch this on replay.
I know what to do.
See, what you just did is you came up with an original idea. Now, because you did that, they're not going to have to.
I'm sorry.
Let's see. Okay, that's Soundly says drink. Yeah, we already did on that one. Definitely we did. Let's see. Oh, the snide comment lawyer has said that it's actually not true. There will be no new moon of our moon. They're just going to put another sticker on the dome beside the moon sticker. Well done. Well done. You know what? We're having a drink to the snide comment lawyer. All right, let us
I would
restart.
really love to see a Jeranism video after we put that asteroid in orbit around the moon.
Oh, it should be. And can you?
How is he going to explain that? Because he thinks that the moon is not. Wait, does he think it's flat, or does he think it's a? No, he thinks it's a flat disk.
I believe
and that
so.
We can't reach it. Unless we actually put an asteroid there, how can he explain his flatism?
See, what happened was the lizard man or whatever got a bunch of hot air balloons, and they put like a really big rock next to, the self-illuminating moon that goes around the Earth every 24 hours, ignoring all the winter months and the summer changes and all that. It just ignores all that. Every 24 hours, that's what it does, right there. Right there. It goes around top of it, like a watch.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
And yeah, and boy, the whole journey to Mars thing is really going to screw with them, isn't it? I mean, people that were here, Anyway, all right, we're closing in on this one. Let's let it fly and see what else we get.
The Bible says. Now, another mysterious aspect about the moon that you may not appreciate is that the moon doesn't ever rotate. Not really. It rotates just enough so that the front of it is always facing us. I mean, what are the chances?
Yeah. We call
What are the chances? 100%.
What are the chances of tidal? What are the chances of tidal locking?
It's called tidal locking.
Which of an event happening that's already happening is 100%, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Tidal locking.
When I was a teenager, I figured out tidal locking. It's not a difficult concept. Just all on my own, thinking about what would a barbell do if it were orbiting the Earth and rotating with the different gravitational pulls, 4 inches away up versus 4 inches away down. It's got to lock in eventually. It's an easy concept to come up with.
Indeed. And if we think back a few minutes in this video, the tidal locking is also the reason why where the moon was put perfectly where it ought to be, why it isn't where it ought to be anymore then. So, all right, moving on.
Chances of that? And what are the chances that the moon would look like a face looking at us? Have you ever thought to yourself, well, hey,
No.
the moon isn't what...
No.
What is this dude smoking, bro? A face? A face.
There's a word for that. What, pareidolia?
Yeah, exactly, pareidolia, and that is
call it, hi. Hi. This dude is on some next level conspiracy stuff, dude.
Yeah, that's facing the moon. Yeah, well, what about the ice cream cones in the clouds? Yeah, same thing.
Well, see, now you're proving
they're
this
put
point.
there. Here we go.
What we think it is. Well, you might be onto something there, my friend. The moon didn't just get there. It was brought there. Now, there's a lot of speculation to what the moon really is, and I'm not going to add fuel to that fire, but if you've ever seen a cell phone tower dressed up to look like a palm tree, then you know things aren't always what they seem. Moving on. Our world is full of mysterious clues.
Wait, what the hell is the point of that? The moon is not what it seems. Sometimes cell phone towers are disguised.
Because
Moving
the
on.
cell phone tower is disguised. That proves that the moon has to be something different than what it looks like.
Didn't it sound like he was going to say it's not? Normally, if I say, "Hey, that's not what it seems," you'd expect me to say what it is. There was no what it is.
I hope he says it's cheese. Please let it be cheese.
Well, it's already got a face. All right, so it's a big cheesy face. All right.
Like the moon, but it really only starts making sense if you understand what this reality is really about. It's about good versus evil. So start paying attention to your environment, my friend. Start paying attention to what happens at nightfall, for example. Why do you think they call it nightfall? Start looking up instead of looking down. It's as if there's something else that's falling to earth during nightfall. It isn't just darkness. Pay attention to it. I'm not sure what it is that's raining down with darkness at night, but my guess is that it began its journey at dusk on the other side of the planet. I'll let that simmer for a while. Train your eyes to look at things.
Oh my God, please stop it.
All right. Injury has occurred. Do you need a few minutes?
Oh my God.
So has this guy been watching Supernatural or something? I've
Thanks for reminding me. I've got a new episode I need to watch.
I've gathered enough to form this little quip here. He's saying that they call it nightfall because some, I guess, malicious force started its journey at dusk across the world.
Yeah, That's pretty much. Oh, and he said he puts the correction. He meant dawn. This thing, this dark thing, starts out at dawn on its way to us from. I'm not sure, since it's kind of a sun, moving across the sky. Apparently, even though, but you think so the dark thing starts in the morning and gets on its way, and then at nightfall, because fall is in there, it falls on us, and then it goes away.
I've noticed that he and a lot of people like this like to play on these words. Some colloquial. I need another drink. Some word phrase that's come up through language, like nightfall.
Mm-hmm.
They think just because that phrase exists, somebody must have intended to make that phrase because they knew that something was falling, so they used that phrase. And now, I've caught on that they call it nightfall. That means something's falling. I found their secret.
Yeah.
That's the second time doing it in this video. And I noticed that all other videos like this use this weird, stupid technique because there's some simile or whatever of a word, and so they think it must really mean whatever the vagueness of the word means.
Yeah, and I have to say, if he starts with the hiding in plain sight thing, that's it. We're moving on. All right. Well, actually, if this is all a program from somewhere else, then this guy must be against all the Illuminati and Men in Black and all the Freemason. He must be, because we're in a program. So obviously none of those forces could be in control. So this guy must be at odds with a lot of the other ones out there.
He'd also have to not believe in free will.
Yeah. All right, but you think he's going to go on about things falling at night, or you think he's going to move on to some different form of stupid? But you know what? Let's not hypothesize. Let's see what comes. Here we go.
Normally pick up. Kind of like when you look at a star at night by not looking directly at it. Start training your eyes to look at auras. The best way to begin there is by looking at people while looking at something else. Now you got to be careful there. Not only will you start noticing that people have different types of auras, but you'll also notice that metallic objects such as planes and helicopters have different types of auras as well. I think most of you have probably already noticed that one by now. That's just another example of how things are more complicated than we give them credit for.
I noticed we're all struck speechless by that last batch of stupid.
Yeah.
I didn't hear one sound. I didn't hear one sound out of anybody. I can only assume.
I was trying to understand it. He said to look at something, but don't look at something. Then how can I?
Yeah. Well, he started out, again, like most of these folks, he started out with something that has some truth in it. What he's talking about is some of the dimmer stars you don't see if you look directly at them, and it's not because of the blind spot we have where the nerve bundle attaches to the retina on the wrong side. There's some intelligent design for you. But it's because it seems that the retina at the extremities, possibly because of not having to deal with such direct illumination all the time, is a little more sensitive. If you look slightly off center, where you're not staring directly at the star, but off a few degrees, then you see it. But then if you move your eye back to where the star is, it's gone. And people have experienced that. And again, I don't know if it's intentional deception or if it's just worked into his delusion, but that's how you get people to believe the rest of your bullshit. You give them one little piece that, oh yeah, I've experienced that. This guy must know what he's talking about.
And I don't know what kind of camera can pick up the light frequency of an aura. How do we measure that and test it?
I actually did. That aura thing kind of caught me by surprise. He was talking about go become a religious dude, and he was talking about computer programs, and now we're going into some new agey sort of stuff. I mean, what else is going to mix in here?
We'll find out.
I guess so.
He's got a random selector of bullshit.
You think he made himself a little cardboard wheel with an arrow?
I'm sure he did.
That he's just flicking as he talks. So
he intelligently designed his wheel.
Well, of course. or a giant lizard did, one or the other. All right, carrying on with auras and moons and cell towers. Here we go.
Getting back to the basics, though, if you want to understand the Matrix, if you want to understand this constructed reality, then you have to begin with the user's guide to life, i.e. the Bible. Its purpose is to instruct you on how to conduct yourself. Its purpose is to teach you about logic.
How to conduct yourself. How to conduct yourself. Okay, so, and all the boys, all the married women, but the girls who have never known man, keep for yourselves. Okay. Here's a good, it's supposed to tell us how to be, okay.
Also, yeah. You know how donkeys used to talk all the time?
And snakes.
Okay. So wait a minute. The talking donkey one always entertained me a little bit. So it was, as I understand, it was not, I don't remember the actual verse. What the hell was it? It wasn't the donkey talking. It was a God talking through the donkey, right? That's what was going on?
So are you saying God was talking through his ass?
Oh, my punchline.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not at all. Not at all. As long as it got out there, that's really all I'm interested in. Doesn't matter who said it. So the Bible says,
Numbers 22:28. There you go.
the Bible says God was talking out his ass. Nice. Okay. All right, good find. All right. Let us continue and read about this wondrous handbook.
Reason and understanding. This matrix is full of automated systems that are out there to balance the equation, to reprimand you if you start treading down the dark path. So, if you want to avoid the worst this reality has to offer, then my best advice to you is to follow the rules set out in the user's guide. It's as simple as that. Lastly, I want to talk to you a little bit about prayer. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the system react to prayer. Your prayers can be answered. And those answers overrule everything. They defy logic, they defy understanding. You'll find example after example of that by talking to people around you and in the Gospels.
Okay. 2 points on that.
So we're back on the a simulation world now, I guess.
Yeah. Well, not really.
Now.
Not really. He's stating simulation, but what he's really saying is creation, and now he's into prayer works. Well, first, the 2 points on that. Prayer is
praying.
What's it? Yeah. What's it sound like? Prayer, pray, praise. Ah, that's it. Look at that. Look at what it sounds like. Praying was originally supposed to be like in Monty Python. Oh God, you are so large. That is praying. Praying is not, God, my ass hurts. Could you do something about that? That's not praying. That's asking for shit.
But the study he is showing on screen is that prayer is lowering their stress and blood pressure. That does not mean that is what they are praying for. That just means that in the state of prayer, they've got more control of their breathing, the more introverted, they're better control of themselves.
It's a meditative state.
Yes.
And where the hell was I reading it today? I wish I still had the screen up, but I had to restart the computer. I don't even remember what it was. It was a study on the effectiveness of prayer in hospitals on rates of recovery or something like that. And it ended up being for patients who didn't know they were being prayed for, no differences versus control group and the people that were having prayers issued on their behalf.
Did they test praying to one God?
God? And for people, yeah, they picked one. And for people that were aware, the people that were aware they were being prayed for fared worse, probably due. I don't know for sure, but the study said the results said probably due to the stress of the expectation that they had better recover because somebody was talking to God about them. All right, so we got. Anybody else have anything on the praying, or should we just let them? We're closing in on it here. Shall we? Anything else?
Let's hear what he's got to say.
All right, moving on.
So put that logic to good use as well, and watch your reality change around you. Prayer is the only way to appeal a decision to the power that created the universe. Be genuine and sincere with your prayers. Pray for others. Give thanks often. And follow the 10 Commandments to the letter. Don't be a trendy when it comes to following those commandments. You should act and sound like the people did back in the 1950s, literally. So take the Matrix Challenge. Live your life according to the 10 Commandments for a month and watch the world change around you.
Stranger than fiction news.
Because truth is stranger than fiction.
I was just about to say that this was an anticlimactic ending, and then he throws a tornado in there.
Yep, there you go. Well, as for the whole prayer thing, the last thing I will say about that is, so all the Matrix stuff he put in, that was just to get some views. He's saying that there's a creator. He's saying the creator has a divine plan, and we're supposed to periodically look up and tell him there's something wrong with his divine plan. That's what he's saying.
Yep.
And you got a plan. You got a plan. Your plan says this person's sick. I think your plan sucks. Fix them. That's okay. That's great. All right. Let's see what else we got here.
You know what I love? I love when you tell them, like when you just accept what they're going to tell you, right? Everything is a part of God's plan. Oh, okay, cool. Everything, every single conceivable thing has been planned out. So you're saying that dude's cancer is already in the books. It's going to happen. Well,
Yep.
like, no. You said everything. Everything. Even the bad.
Indeed.
They don't want to hear that, man. They only want to hear the good. Oh, man, I can't find my keys. I said a quick prayer. I found my keys on my counter. It's kind of funny because I was in the kitchen before anyway, but, forget about that. I found my keys after I prayed. Good thing.
Really, we'll forget about all the starving children. Long as you made the touchdown, found your keys, everything's good.
Man, I really hope Tom Brady makes that touchdown pass this week. Oh, look at that! He did it. It's got nothing to do with the fact that he practices for like 80 bazillion hours a day to be good at this game, because that's what he gets paid to do. Because it's his job. You forget about all that.
Yeah.
He made it gold.
Indeed. All right. Shall we listen to the open letter to President Donald Trump?
I'm afraid.
Oh, please.
I'm afraid.
All right. Please make sure your seats and tray tables are in their full and upright position. Here we go.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. We copy on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Creationism with a letter for Donald Trump. If you think this letter is important for Donald Trump to see, please share it through social media or send it directly to Donald Trump either through Twitter @RealDonaldTrump or through email by sending it to djt@trumporg.com. A downloadable link is in the description, as well as a link to his Twitter and his email address. Thank you.
Because anybody that's about to be president is certainly just waiting to hear from Creationism.
Oh, man, but they...
It's top priority.
Congratulations, Mr. Trump, on becoming the 45th president of the United States. Well, 44th in actuality. Well, if you count the 8 before George Washington, who was the first Masonic president, you're number 53. Whatever it is, congratulations.
I'm not even going to ask.
What? What the fuck did he say?
I'm not even going to ask.
We are not going to just speed past that like it's fucking normal. He said 3? Dude, I should just slap it. Oh my god.
Okay. so it's the Freemasons again. All right.
everyone knows that when you go back and you count up all the presidents who've had 2 terms, in some cases 3, you get 45. Done. I don't know what type of mental gymnastics he had to go through to get to 53. Oh, man.
The snide comment lawyer has a new name for Jeranism. Geranus.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
I like that. I like that one, and that is right up there with Red from Red's Rhetoric. You've heard his he shortened it to make it easier for us and for Jeranism to remember, because it's Jeranism. It's complicated. Red shortened it to Jism, and that's how he's addressed him in debates directly. I have great admiration.
No,
for
he
Red.
stole it from Reds.
Yeah. All right. So okay, we got the Freemason first. Okay. On with the open letter, which isn't a letter.
I hope to get just 10 minutes of your time, and it is all I will ask.
In a 20-minute video. Just saying.
For your entire presidency, and in all honesty, your entire life. 10 minutes is all I ask. I want to talk to you about the evidence of collusion, deception, and in all ways a conspiracy. Not a conspiracy theory, because once you have evidence, the idea of theory goes away. It becomes
drink. Once again, Uranus showing that he does not know what a theory is. He just said that once you have evidence, the theory goes away. Wrong. Evidence is what supports the theory. Experimental results supports the theory. Right. Okay. Next.
A conspiracy. Mr. Trump, if you really care as you say you do, then my hope is to reveal to you some truth that has been veiled from the masses at the country's expense. I love science. I really do. But I love real science, not the science that we are given today. One of the greatest scientists ever, Abu al-Hazen, said,
"The seeker after the truth is not one who studies the writings of the ancients and following his natural disposition puts his trust in them, but rather the one who suspects his faith in them and questions what he gathers from them. The one who submits to argument and demonstration and not to the sayings of a human being whose nature is fraught with all kinds of imperfection and deficiency. Thus, the duty of the man who investigates the writings of scientists, if learning the truth is his goal, is to make himself an enemy of all that he reads, and applying his mind to the core and margins of its content, attack it from every side."
He understood that science is the questioning of current beliefs.
Drink.
Whatever is thought to be.
While I was talking there, I Googled the scientist, and I was finding someone from the 10th century. Is he really considering someone from the pre-scientific era to be the greatest scientist?
Look, all he needs to do is find somebody who said something that fits in with what he wants to say. I think that's where the motivation is. Besides, what the guy actually said, if you think about it, is not contrary to the present scientific method.
That's what I was
We
thinking
do question
too.
everything. We do question everything, and it's not just the people that make the discoveries that get the big research grants. And you look at evolution. Anybody that could bring up any evidence that would say evolution, not true, they would get the bucks.
Dude, they would be so rich that like I don't understand. People are like, evolution's a conspiracy. Like, if you can disprove it, dude, if you could just play by play, sketch it up, and just send it off.
There is strong motivation. Absolutely, there is strong motivation to do so.
People would be paying you to just talk to them at their colleges,
Yeah. Yep. Indeed, but apparently that is beyond Uranus's understanding. The example he put up was actually supporting of the present scientific method, that which he calls false science. All right, carrying on.
be the current facts need to be attacked and challenged. The truth will always stand up to inquiry. The lies, however, will not. So, Mr. Trump, let me show you and inform you of some things, and my hope would be that you, being the intelligent person that you are, will look into these things and help drain the swamp. Let's begin in the past and explore why science believes what they believe. For example, Edwin Hubble saw that all galaxies are moving away from us. And because of those observations, science had a choice: to say that we were the center of the universe, or to make up another possible explanation. Now, here comes the problem. How would you feel if you found out that the direction science went in is philosophically based?
Drink.
Here's what Edwin Hubble said.
What he's just said about the galaxies moving, that's not what has been said about the galaxies moving. Most of the galaxies, perhaps, but there are definitely some coming right at us.
And not only that, he's shows strong evidence of being stuck in just, let's see how to put it. The expanding of the universe would make everything move away from everything, not necessarily everything from a central point. It's like, well, where was the Big Bang? Why don't we see a central point where the Big Bang was? We do. It's here, and it's also everywhere else, because it was not a it's not a location in space. It is space. So
he's got a preschool misunderstanding of that basic concept.
Although you see the problem here, when he describes it in terms like that, for people who are, and there's nothing wrong with the people who don't have the knowledge, but people that don't have the knowledge of it, it sounds convincing because it's simple, it's easy to understand. Right. It sounds like it makes sense. If we were unaware, we might fall for that as well, and it's just deceptive. All right, let's see what more advisings he has for the new president
about their choice of spatial curvature.
But the unwelcome supposition of a favored location must be avoided at all costs. Such a favored position, of course, is intolerable. Therefore, in order to restore homogeneity and to escape the horror of a unique position, the departures from uniformity, which are introduced by recession factors, must be compensated by the second term representing effects of spatial curvature.
Drink. In other words, this paragraph, taken out of context of the rest of it, when he says intolerable, it doesn't mean, and we've got to hide it. He means it's wrong. He means that these observations might be interpreted incorrectly and give the impression that we are the center of the universe. That was how I interpreted what Edwin Hubble said.
That's exactly what he meant, and we know for a fact that Uranus is about to do exactly what Hubble said don't do.
Exactly, and it's only the difference in the manner of speaking that makes it possible for Uranus to morph this paragraph into something that supports his position instead of something that refutes it and says it must be avoided at all costs because it is a bad idea and a wrong idea. So, moving on. Oh, unless there are any other comments on the latest batch of stupid. Okay.
I'm trying to find out how he says exactly what I expect him to say.
He has shown evidence of being predictable, hasn't he? All right, moving on.
There seems to be no other escape.
A favored position must be avoided at all costs? Intolerable? Does that sound like real science to you, Mr. Trump? So to stay away from the absolute horror of a unique position, they decided to go against observation and to make a decision based philosophically, not scientifically. So is that true? That science might be making decisions separate from observations? Well, the great physicist George Ellis said,
"You can only exclude it on philosophical grounds. In my view, there's absolutely nothing wrong in that. What I want to bring into the open is the fact that we are using philosophical criteria in choosing our models. A lot of cosmology tries to hide that."
So it's pretty clear then. that science, which is open and true, has tried to hide something. So the idea is that men have sold.
Okay.
What that quote is obviously talking about is scientists recognize that humans have a bias. And that's a core part of the scientific principle, is to try to avoid the bias that we know we all have, even scientists. He's acknowledging that. He's not demeaning science. He's saying, since we know that happens, we try to better ourselves and form tests and methods to minimize the bias. It's not acknowledging that we're biased and we're always going to be wrong to give Tyrannus fuel to make a YouTube video.
Indeed. Seemed like more of a warning than a condemnation. All right. Well, has everyone recovered? We'll start it again.
To the masses are religious based. They are not based in facts and evidence, but based in what some men want to be true. It doesn't sound like science to me. So great minds like Carl Sagan, who told people many times over that we are insignificant and just a tiny speck in a vast universe 14 billion years old and 14 billion light years in every direction. And notice that 14 billion light years in every direction seems to place us in the center, doesn't it? Well, Sagan reasoned,
the size and age of the cosmos are beyond ordinary human understanding. Lost somewhere between immensity and eternity is our tiny planetary home. In a cosmic perspective, most human concerns seem insignificant, even petty, and yet our species is young and curious and brave, and shows much promise. In the last few millennia, we have made the most astonishing and unexpected discoveries about the cosmos and our place within it, explorations that are exhilarating to consider. They remind us that humans have evolved to wonder, that understanding is a joy, that knowledge is a prerequisite to survival. I believe our future depends on how well we know this cosmos, in which we float like a mote of dust in the morning sky.
so once it's understood that science has an agenda, a want, and certain requirements, we must challenge.
Nothing that he just said was an attempt to minimize humans' worth to other humans. It does would place us in a context of scale.
Agreed. And definitely drink worthy. Good call.
And that guy sounded nothing like Sagan.
No, he did not. I miss Carl Sagan. He was very much like Neil deGrasse Tyson, entertaining while being educational.
Some so-called truths and demand to see the evidence that led to those facts. Well, when you do, you find corruption, collusion, secret societies, lies, cover-ups, and hate, and a shunning of
YouTube
anyone
videos.
simply asking those questions. So recently you made a contract.
It's a contract between Donald J. Trump and the American voter, and it begins with bringing honesty, accountability, and change to Washington, D.C.
I hope I can help to make that truth rise to the surface. Politicians are a problem. They are paid off by other interests, and they don't represent me or the rest of this country.
I'm not a politician and have never wanted to be a politician. Believe me. But when I saw the trouble our country was in, I knew I couldn't stand by and
I thought this was a letter to Trump.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. He knows what he said. Why? Maybe he'll justify it. Let's see what happens.
Really hope you can help, because the system simply doesn't work.
I've seen the system up close and personal for many years. I've been a major part of it. I know how the game works in Washington and on Wall Street. And I know how they've rigged the rules of the game against everyday Americans. The rules are rigged.
I absolutely agree. Massive rigging. And I think you come across as being one of us. And if that is true, then I hope by your position, you can help bring the truth back to the forefront.
The dishonest mainstream media is also part, and a major part, of this corruption.
Again, I agree 100%. The media is bought and paid for and controlled. So it shouldn't be a surprise to find out that the media pushes a certain narrative, and the narrative is rarely the truth.
The rigging of the system is designed for one reason: to keep the corrupt establishment and special interests in power at your expense and everybody's expense. I have no special interest but you, the American voter.
You have no idea how true I hope that is. If it is true, you will look into these things that I talk about and see that the lies are being taught as truth and being held up by special interests and a corrupt media.
I didn't have to do this, believe me. There's nothing easy about it. But I had to do it. I love our country. I love the people of our country. And I felt I had to do it.
Well, I'm here for that exact same reason. I feel that I have to help bring out the truth, and I know
we will never solve our problems.
All right, his 10 minutes are up.
Why have I lost sound?
I was just wondering that.
A bit. We don't want to miss any of the. There we go.
There's nothing easy about it. But I had to do it. I love our country. I love the people of our country. And I felt I had to do it.
Well, I'm here for that exact same reason. I feel that I have to help bring out the truth, and I know you can probably do more than anyone.
One thing we all know is that we will never solve our problems by relying on the same politicians who created these problems in the first place.
I couldn't agree more. We need change.
We now find ourselves at a very special fork in the road. Do we repeat the mistakes of the past, or do we choose to believe that a great future, yet unwritten, still lies ahead for us and for our wonderful, beloved country? I think it does. I know it does.
I choose a great future, built on truth and on real, repeatable science.
Corruption is massive. We will drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. and replace it with a new government of, by, and for the people. Believe me.
Drain it, place it, and wow, how I wish that I could actually see the day that government was of, for, and by the people. If that were the case, what a better world we would live in.
I'm asking the American people to rise above the noise and the clutter of our broken politics and to...
All right. There's been nothing specific, but we're more than halfway through this. And he hasn't said anything to the president-elect at all. We're more than halfway through, and he's showing a bunch of Trump clips and saying, "Yo, I agree with that. Ooh, that sounds great. Boy, what a wonderful world it would be." I'm calling drink.
Embrace that great faith.
It appears to be a bunch of random half thoughts that kind of might maybe lead to something. And then when he's done, he thinks he's made a point.
Well, if this follows a lot of his other videos, he goes around the maypole trying to cover everything that most of his viewers already have in their heads. And then when he gets to what should be his point, it doesn't matter what he says because everyone has already heard what they wanted to hear. Be interesting to see if this follows the same path. All right.
In the American character, and there's nothing better or stronger than the American character.
You know what? I agree with you here more than I can say. So let me tell you my thoughts and my observations, and I hope you see the reason the questions must be asked. What I'm about to say is not mainstream and not well accepted by people in the world. In fact, some of it causes people to hate it. Americans are amazing people. This country is made up of some of the greatest minds that have ever lived. Our inventions and innovations are second to none, and our combined abilities and ingenuity are unmatched. However, this has not stopped a certain agency from stealing money, misdirecting resources, and lying to the entire world. That agency that needs to be looked into is NASA. And I understand that with every president since Kennedy, and possibly even including Kennedy, there has been a policy in place that requires a continued lying to the public. With Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama, they have all allowed if something is science, then by its very nature, it is open to questioning and challenge. And we just saw how this idea of truth and scientific fact may be more of a religion or ideology than we had ever thought or could have imagined. So science may say that the closest star is 25 trillion miles away and that the sun is 93 million miles away. And while they show us planetary images and nebulas and galaxies, all of those images actually are not even in the human vision spectrum. They are comprised of data that is all run through NASA's computers and then printed out for us to see. Mr. Trump, I understand why you might think that all we have been taught about space is true, and I am simply asking you to look into it. If it were a lie, well then space agencies would be nothing more than a money-making scheme providing nothing to the taxpayer. In fact, Mr. Trump, get this. NASA has developed and invented applications and products that they receive patents for. Then they sell those patents to companies who in turn use them to provide services and create products that they sold to the American public, who are the very people who funded the inventions in the first place. That is not how a productive society should operate. Only 0.00000042% of humans have ever been to space.
Okay, hold on.
Whoa. I thought they couldn't get it because of the firmament.
Yeah, there you go. Doesn't it usually say there is no space? You can't.
Yes.
There's no space. Nobody's gone there. And then, what do you mean? What firmament? Van Allen belts. What are the Van Allen belts? I don't know, but there's a firmament. All right. Everybody have one on me.
So there's a possibility there and a potential for us to be deceived. You spoke about the need of government to be about the people. Well, Mr. Trump, pick me to be the head of NASA. Currently,
okay. All right. I have to ask, is everybody, first things first, is everybody okay?
Let me get up off the floor. Hold on.
Oh my God. No, dude. No way. No way. No.
Yeah, I was.
How about yes? I would love to see that.
That was a little bit unexpected. That was a little bit unexpected.
Is the guy that doesn't believe Mars exists? Yeah, no.
All right, that's. Everyone recovered? Everybody okay? All right.
No, man, that one hit hard.
But he is one of the 0.00000042%. So that again has left us open for deception. NASA is a monopoly in every way known to man. And if you think SpaceX is a private company who would be able to verify those works of NASA, well, listen here.
To date, we've delivered more than 30,000 data items to the Air Force and provided total access to our internal systems to more than 300 government officials for certification.
You yourself have seen what happens when special interests get involved with science in regards to climate change. Luckily, you're going to address that, but it might be...
Wait a minute. What was the... Why was there a swastika in the middle of that?
What?
With science in regards to climate change.
What?
Oh. A green swastika.
A green swastika. Yeah, oh, I see. The climate Nazis. All
I like that term. We need to start using that more.
Okay, you know, I shouldn't have said it because I just did what they did before. I just gave them one. They're not going to have to think of it. They're not going to have to have little gears grinding in their heads and come up with that one on their own. Climate change conspiracy. Okay. With a swastika. Lovely.
Luckily, you're going to address that, but it might be more prevalent than even you think. So we need an independent head of NASA, not an ex-astronaut. Mr. Trump, you need to look into the moon landings and help get the truth out. I understand that questioning it gets you the title of a tinfoil hat wearer, conspiracy theorist, but this would be the case if it was all a ruse. If the United States did not go to the moon, the public deserves the truth. NASA was started by Nazi scientists who tested on human subjects and who knew and used mind control. We haven't been back to the moon in...
What human subjects did the rocket scientists test on?
Why do you need a human to test a rocket?
That's the point.
Indeed.
Maybe it was about the pressure stuff, but wouldn't that be airplanes, not rockets?
I think they made much too much of a fuss over Operation Paperclip, too. I mean, the Russians were snatching every scientist they could, as were we. I mean, what's the mystery there? There was no, and plus there was no conspiracy involved. It's quite public.
This is the longest 10 minutes I've ever experienced.
Yeah, well, this 10 minutes had lasted 15:29 so far, and we've got a little over 4 left. So, deep breath, I guess.
Over 40 years. There is a reason. We know now that travel past the Van Allen belts is impossible.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Knew he was going to pull that one out.
Dude, every time.
The Van Allen belt that doesn't exist because there's nothing beyond the firmament.
Absolutely. But often they'll claim it's the same thing. Van Allen belt is really the firmament, and which makes absolutely no sense.
No. You can't have your pie needed too. The Van Allen belt belongs exclusively to the quote-unquote ball Earth. If you are trying to disprove something that you don't believe exists, I get to call you crazy.
I would tend to agree. It is absolutely dependent on a spherical Earth, well, mostly spherical Earth, and its magnetic field. And they grossly overestimate. It's not like a inferno yet. If you're moving at a pretty good clip with older technology, which is what we had during the Apollo days. I mean, did you ever see the video on the memory? How the memory core for the computers worked at the time. It was almost purely physical. It was a matrix of wires woven together, where the wires went through a core. I think they were ferrite cores. That would represent a 1 to the computer. Where it went past it, that would represent a 0.
I've got a box of those that I stole from the basement of the University of Tennessee in Chattanooga in 1991. They're a little cardboard, kind of like a 35 millimeter slide with wires going from corner to corner, and in the middle, suspended by the wires, is a little miniature donut magnet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, and this would be something that would not be scrambled by low doses of radiation, nor would the people. They were moving at a pretty good clip. They weren't just hanging out in areas of high radiation. It's not some impenetrable wall. Now, with the more sensitive electronics we have now, they're going to have to be a little more careful. But it's describing it like it's an inferno. You get there, you burn up. That's it. Can't pass it. And it's a firmament.
I had someone tell me once during his, because I asked him, well, show me a picture of the sun or whatever, right? And he sent me this, high altitude balloon picture of the Earth and dark, a black space and everything. And I was like, yeah, so how about that space that doesn't exist? And he goes, well, no, it's not space. It's just the gap over the Earth and the firmament. And I was like, no, dude. In your picture, there are stars. There are stars which require exposure time. So the camera was there for like maybe 12 hours minimum, just absorbing the sunlight and getting all the light from the stars or whatever. And he goes, no, all that's just the water locked behind the firmament and it's sparkling because of the sun. And I was like, what in the God, what?
No, but it's. I don't think that's really been thought through.
No, like he had never heard of that shit before, so he made something up on the spot. I swear to you.
Mm.
That's how all of this comes up, is they make crap up on the spot during an argument, and then they have to stick to it because they said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although it wasn't that far off from the usual firmament statement. I mean, goes way back to that whole separate the waters from the waters, that yada yada yada. And
now, has anyone noticed that they say the firmament is 75 miles up, or 72, somewhere around there, but they also say it's a dome shape. So according to their flat Earth model, the closer you get to the South Pole, the lower the firmament should be. That should be easily testable.
Yeah, that's. But no pictures, nobody banging a hammer on a dome. But with the whole and this is just me thinking, but the origin of this whole firmament thing, with the biblical separate the waters from the waters, blah 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 blah. I mean, we all know the lines. I paraphrase, but did it occur to anyone? This just occurred to me. Don't know if it's accurate or not. That all that separating waters from the waters and waters above the firmament from the waters below might have just been really, really, really ancient folks who had no idea why it rains and figured, shit, there's water up there. That's why it rains. Write that down, quick, before I forget it. I mean, the explanation for this whole firmament thing could be something that simple. Like, where the hell's the rain come from? We got to tell these folks something. We're the religious leaders. If we don't tell them something, we're screwed. That may be where it came from. Just a thought. All right. 4.5 minutes left. Now, do you think he's actually going to say something? I wonder. Let us see. He has not advised. No doubt he's going to advise the president. Aside from that, make him the administrator of NASA. Let's see.
But there are many other things that we are starting to see. Mr. Trump, did you know that there is no 24/7 live feed of Earth from space? Make sure you look into this and don't let people tell you that we do. You need to look into it. Because the current feed, in every 30 minutes, you'll see either this, or this, or this.
Okay. Again, accurate.
There has a channel that shows live feed 24/7. Or at least they did for several years.
Yeah, there are interruptions. We have to keep. Well, not we. I don't think we doubt it, but they, flat earthers, have to consider that NASA was not assembled and tasked with the mission of coming up with proof to show that the flat earthers are wrong. That is not their mission. They don't even consider such things. They don't think about such things. They don't say, we better keep the cameras running. We better make damn sure, forget life support, keep those damn cameras running because we're obligated to show the flat earthers what's what.
As they laugh all the way to the science lab.
All right. Cool. Blue. Oh, damn it. I had a blue screen. I was hoping some of you aren't old enough to remember the blue screen of death in Windows, but it's not. So there's going to be more.
It's the blue screen of Jaronism.
Again, we are leaving ourselves open to deception. How can we have a craft in orbit that has cameras aboard it, and yet the very people who have paid for that craft and the cameras cannot get a 24/7 view of their home from space? It's ridiculous, and it needs to be taken care of. Another issue, Mr. President, is the lack of any evidence of a 24-hour sun that circles the southern continent. Also, the
drink.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, carry on. You take. It's all yours.
So this video before, this is an actual 24/7 video of Antarctica showing the sun going all the way around and not setting.
Yep. I've seen this one. Actually, I included clips from this in one that I did in response to our friend here. And this, he also included in one of his to demonstrate that it was not true, that didn't exist. And he did that by showing this video and saying it's not true, and then moving on to the next point. So, in traditional style.
How do you argue with this stuff, man? It's just, you can't argue with someone that does that. You can't reason with those people. Here's your proof that the sun does go around Antarctica, which proves it doesn't.
And I see that it shouldn't even come to this. I mean, just the stars should be enough. Just the fact that, I mean, forget the rotating in different directions. The small circles of the stars near the stars closest to, Polaris up here, and the if what this wacko was saying were true, the farther south you go, the bigger the circuit, the bigger the light trails would be. They wouldn't get smaller, and you wouldn't have small circles of stars directly over the South Pole.
Right.
Okay, so the 24-hour Antarctic sun is debunked by showing a video of the 24-hour Antarctic sun. Sounds legit, don't you think?
For travel,
all right.
The reason there's no
edge. This is a red.
Sorry, I played it right over you. What'd you say, Chief?
I was going to say that the reason that there's no arguing with these people is because they're not looking to debate. They really do need to believe the Earth is flat, so it fits right into Genesis, and we would have the only flat planet ever, which would mean that we're special, which would mean that God, which it would have a cascading effect on things, dude.
Yeah,
they needed to be flat.
Absolutely, that's the motivation for that. Much like in I think one of our earlier sessions, we talked about the motivation for the conspiracy theorist in general. That I would say you're correct. Alrighty. What do we got now?
That while we war with these countries and have these strained relationships, we have a weird chronology. We can see that in the 50s and 60s, operations took place such as Operation Fishbowl, where they were launching bombs up at the sky. Around the same time, in 1957, Sputnik was launched, and in response, the NACA was shut down and NASA was started. Then, during the International Geophysical Year of 1957 to 1958, major countries got together and drafted the Antarctic Treaty. And in 1961, 12 countries, who were enemies in all other areas, got together and agreed to protect or block Antarctica. That number is now 53.
Okay.
53 countries that have agreed to the treaty. Mr. President, what are they hiding from us, the people?
Okay. We did a video on just this. Read the damn treaty. The entire treaty is publicly available. There's even a website that you can go through the whole thing. It's long and boring. And it's all about conservation. The whole thing.
But it's a treaty.
What are they hiding? Nobody's prevented from going. You can't. There's tourism, for God's sake. There's Antarctic tourism.
People. So while NASA may have brought the world together with Apollo, and it may have brought creativity and unity, but if it also brought an outright deception and a systematic fraud, then I hope you will be addressing that. When our Juno craft entered Jupiter's orbit, the confirmation of that fact came in the way of a tone, Mr. Trump. A tone. Does that prove that fact? Or could it be possible that the man behind the curtain caused that tone? So should it surprise us that in a world where companies make money from selling drugs to the sick, that people are sick? And should it surprise us when companies make money off wars, that we're in a constant state of war? And should it surprise us that in schools we have lies being taught as truth, and we have a nation of very confused people? Doesn't surprise me, but I...
Okay, that specific person I've never thought of as incredibly confused, but that's just me.
No, it shouldn't. So, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, I thank you for your time, and feel free to contact me if you'd like me to step in as the new NASA head administrator. I am available. All I can say is that if I were the head of NASA tomorrow, the world would know the truth. There are problems with the formula of the curvature of Earth, the proof of the spin, which has never been shown, and so much more.
Okay. What's the deal? If we repeat something often enough, it suddenly becomes truth?
Yes.
And if you make a YouTube video on it, it becomes more true. And if you make a YouTube channel with multiple videos on it, it becomes exponentially true.
I'm guessing that's the case. Because this
Yeah.
whole never been proven. Well, it's been shown. Isn't that good enough? Things can be disproven, and nobody has. A lot of assertions, but goofball.
Again, science may say they have the proof, but when asked, you get called names, and the further you research, the more you find out that all of our scientific facts have gone through not the scientific method, but science's philosophical method, and that simply isn't science. So I look forward to the truth coming back during your term, and I am here to help you in every way I can. If the same lies are allowed to continue from NASA, just know I will keep striving for the truth, and I will realize that you are just another leader in a line of them who govern for themselves and care nothing for the lies that are taught and told to the American people, and just another leader who allows a religion based on philosophical criteria to be allowed to be taught in schools as scientific fact.
Was that his ultimatum to President Trump? You better put me at the head of NASA, or I will not believe you anymore.
Yes. The president-elect is in danger of losing the respect of Uranus.
Well, he better put him in charge then. That just cannot be allowed to happen.
I'm guessing. Unbelievable.
This is against the Constitution and is against everything that this country is about. 60 years of lies from NASA is enough. Let's end it.
This is my pledge to you. And if we follow these steps, we will once more have a government of, by, and for the people. And importantly, we will make America great again. Believe me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Again, congratulations. I wish you the best. And be kind. Don't lie. Open your mind. There's truth inside.
See, he can't resist. We shamed him into taking that off of his whole intro video. It doesn't say that anymore in the beginning. But he can't resist saying it because he's lived with it for so long. Open your mind. Yes. Open your mind. Listen to the
he
voices
opened
in
his
there.
mind and it fell out. That was the longest 10 minutes of my life.
Yeah, considering the 10 minutes was 20 and it's not actually over yet, there's really 38 seconds left, but I suspect it'll just be
the outro.
No. All right, we will let's let it play out. What the hell?
Till next time.
He probably paid some loot for that, logo thing flying around. All right.
My stupid hurts.
Yeah. All right. Normally we would just. We've been at this for almost 2 hours already. Let's see. I think Dev reports. I just got a message over here. Let me take a look. I think Dev dropped off. I believe he's having computer issues. Let me take a look in Hangouts here. All right. Yep. Dev has dropped off. We'll catch him soon. All right. So as not to seriously scar anybody emotionally, psychologically, or intellectually. Maybe we should call it. Maybe we should. I'm sorry. Maybe we should call it for tonight. Let's take a look through. Let's see. What do we got in the comments here? Yes, the flatheads do deny reality, pretty much. All right, maybe we'll call it for this evening. And thanks everybody for joining us. I guess. Anybody else have anything else they want to add?
Night night.
Indeed. Thanks. I will now, as usual, play. I just love this song, so I feel free to disconnect, go to sleep, and all that sort of thing. But invariably, I play the new theme song with Buster the Pug, and we'll be doing that. So thanks, guys. Do have a good evening. We'll be doing this again next Friday, and there may be a time shift because a couple of people expressed, difficulties with the scheduling. We'll all talk, and all that will be announced. But good night, all. Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Good night. Let's drag that to the main window. All right, everybody, the traditional closing, Buster the Pug, and a really cool song.